Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. So I was going to make a video based off of Plusle because it was out for Spotlight Hour, but then I realized that I just didn't like playing Plusle. I have a really good one, but it just doesn't have great moves. So it has the Fashion Spark, which is probably one of the worst end generators of the electric attacks, and on top of it, it only had Discharge and Grassland, meaning that it couldn't do a lot of damage. Because of that, I was figuring I could just skip that video and focus on doing other videos about Pokemon that are pretty good, like Walrein. So as everyone already knows, Walrein had a community day over the weekend, and I haven't really done a video on it yet, and it's because I've been trying to figure out what kind of team I could put it on. The stats are very similar to that of like the Abomasnow. It has about 113 attack, about 114 defense, and about 150 stamina. In comparison, Abomasnow has 118 attack, 111 defense, and 143 stamina. They're both really weak to things like fighting types as well as rock types, but Walrein is actually good against things like fire types and steel types. In exchange, it's really weak to electric types though. It also goes more neutral matchups against grass types or like Razor Leaf versus like Victory Bell, instead of outright winning those matchups. So this video is just going to feature 5 different teams that I use with the Walrein. It's actually more like 5-ish. One team was actually just an accident. I made the team and I played with it, so I put it in anyway. It didn't do very well. I could talk about why later on. But overall, I think that Walrein is a good Pokemon. It just needs a team that can kind of play around it because it's kind of unique. I think the biggest issue with Walrein is that it doesn't outright win any major matchups. That's really important. It has a lot of good neutral matchups in that it can win the matchup if you can get an Earthquake off. But other than that, it doesn't have any Pokemon that can really just easily farm down or can really take out, at least in the top meta. Let's get to some battles and I'll show you what I mean. So in this first team, I started off with a Walrein lead. In the back, there's going to be a Nidoqueen as well as a Glysaur. Now they led with an Alolan Ninetales with the Charm. The key thing to know here is that if I let that thing farm down my Walrein, what's going to happen is that the Nidoqueen will be able to use Weather Balls against both my Glysaur as well as my Nidoqueen. So I want to get out of there as fast as possible. They responded with a Medicham, which is actually not that great. This indicates to me that they're actually really weak to Nidoqueen, so I'm going to do everything I can to just make sure that my Nidoqueen stays healthy at the end of this matchup. When I originally built this team, it really wanted to just kind of cover your fighting matchups as well as your grass matchups. Both the Glysaur as well as the Nidoqueen have good play against both those typings, as well as rock types as well as steel types. Because of this, you're able to get a lot of good play in there. So Nidoqueen was able to win that matchup, and they're actually going to bring the Bastion, which is really strange. I think they should actually brought this out earlier, but that's okay with me. At this point, I'm going to just commit to making sure that I throw double Earth Power as fast as possible. If I can do that, I can be in a pretty good position over here. So now that my opponent has shields down, my Walrein has a lot more play now, and the reason is because the Walrein double resists Weather Ball from the Alolan Ninetales, and I can get a lot of good neutral damage in with something like Earthquake. It looks like we see P-Tire there, which is great. I'm now going to bring in my Glysaur and just wing attack the way down. In this case, because they switch, I'm actually going to go ahead and Sand Tomb and then switch directly back into my Walrein. Actually, I think I'm going to stay in because I want to just make sure that the Ninetales throws, because if it doesn't throw over here, I can do a lot more farm damage and eventually just completely win this entire matchup over here. Because they throw Weather Ball, I now bring in my Walrein, and I know for a fact that I can really just farm as much energy as possible here, because Charm isn't going to be able to take me out, and I know that Weather Ball isn't going to be able to take me out over here. I have 2 Icicle Spears ready to go. They're going to throw a Weather Ball here, which is fine with me. Once again, I'm able to double resist that Weather Ball, so I'm going to throw this Icicle Spear. I'm actually going to underfarm it because I want to get more energy before I take out the Ninetales. Get 2 more Power Stones in there, and at this point I can go straight for the Earthquake before they can do any type of charge moves, which will take out the Bastiodon. The one thing I learned while playing the Walrein a lot was that it's actually best when you close with it. If you can close with it, you're actually going to be in a good position almost every time, because the amount of damage the Earthquake does and because the efficiency on the Icicle Spear. In game 2, I bring out a Toxicroak League, and I'm basically going to try to test out what Walrein looks like inside the safe swap. The back end is going to be a Umbreon, and the reason why I did this is because I was kind of afraid of Psychic Pokemon. I don't know why I really shouldn't have been. Psychic Pokemon haven't been a big player in the meta for the past couple of months. In my opinion, I don't think that having the Umbreon is a good call here, because there are going to be more fighting types because of Walrein being a community Pokemon, and on top of that, there are just Charmers all over the farm right now. If you think about using this team, really consider switching out the Umbreon for a different Pokemon, which I'll show later. I do have a good pick for it, and I recommend using that for this type of team. So in this game, they lead with a Alolan Ninetales, which I'm guessing is going to be a Charmer. It is a Charmer, so I'm just going to do some chip damage over here, and then I'm eventually going to switch out into my Walrein. The reason is because the Walrein can soak up the Weather Ball damage, and it still does decent neutral damage with Earthquake, and it puts enough threat on there. They bring out Medicham, which is definitely something I don't want to see as Walrein. That being said, these Icicle Spears do a fair share of neutral damage. Sorry about the volume for the first half of this video. I didn't realize that my mic was all the way down. That being said, I'm just going to try to get as much chip damage as possible with Icicle Spears. I know that I don't have a lot of options here. I just have to hope that their last Pokemon is really weak to my Toxicroak. But if I had to guess, I'm probably in a really bad position because of the way this team is built. The Icicle Spears actually do okay damage, but it isn't great damage. I think something like Body Slam from Vigoroth does a little more. And because of this, I just don't put enough pressure on this Medicham for it to really help me out. So that's what I was thinking what I was going to try to do over here. I bring out my Umbreon because I'm afraid they're going to have Psychic. And if they have Psychic, they can go ahead and throw energy on this Umbreon. And I can save up as much energy as possible by just doing the best I can to farm it down without dying to the Power Punch. I'm going to go ahead and let this second Power Punch really hurt me over here. That's okay. At this point, I can go ahead and throw the Fire Play, knowing they have just enough energy to do some effective damage to, you know, the Alolan Ninetales that's going to come right here. There we go. It comes out. I throw a Foul Play because I don't think I'm going to make it to the last resort, but I'm hoping they block it anyway. And they do. They do. Down goes my Umbreon, and now comes back my Toxicroak, and I'm just in a really bad position over here. I have to block both their Psychic Boosts, or all three of their Psychic Boosts, to have any chance over here. I don't know if there's any way I actually could have won this, but hey, you play your hardest and hope that you can win. I think even if I were able to take out this Deoxys, I would still have to fight the Alolan Ninetales almost energy dry. After this Psycho Boost, they're actually going to take me out by, I think, just counter damage. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there it goes. That was rough. Yeah, you can't trust enough. Like some of those popular Pokemon in the format right now, or in the meta, are going to be Charmers as well as counter users. So be careful when you use Umbreon. In game 3, I switched out the Umbreon for a Shadow Glade, and Shadow Glade is going to be a lot better just because it beats a lot of fighting types. So if they were to bring something like another Medicham or a Scrafty, I can actually have a lot more play in it because I resist the Carnage and I can usually farm it down pretty easily. So they led with Pancake Stunfisk, which is actually really bad. Obviously, Toxicroak loses the matchup really poorly. So I bring out my Walrein over here. Walrein has a good matchup against the Stunfisk, and they respond with a Shadow Victory Bell, which is something I just don't want to see. The good news is that because of how tanky the Walrein is, I'm able to get to 2 Icicle Spears before it can take me out. That being said, at this point, I'm just going to focus on doing what I can to farm it down. With no actual energy or no shields left on them, I know that my my Glade over here, my Shadow Glade, is going to do a lot of damage to whatever comes out. So I'm just going to farm it down really quickly. I take a lot of damage from those Razor Leaves, but at this point, you know, I can do this Leaf Blade and then dip right back into my Toxicroak. Now my Toxicroak has 2 shields against the Stun Fist. Because of this, I'm actually able to go ahead and race it and make sure that I get my Mud Bombs out against it. So I can go ahead and throw 2 Mud Bombs at this point, and it'll take up the Stun Fist before they can get any major damage on my Toxicroak. Those Charmers in the back, they are scary. Here comes Mud Bomb number 1. This takes, I believe, about a third of their health. Actually, a little more than a third of the health. Here comes Mud Bomb number 2, which will actually take it out. And there it goes, meaning that Wake is going to come back out, and I'm going to just punch it down before it can actually do another charm attack on my Gallade. Like, I think Walrein's not a terrible Pokemon. It's just really weak in the safe slot because it has a lot of really meta counters like Medicham and Bastiodon. In Game 4, I try a Walrein lead again, but I'm actually going to utilize a Pidgeot and Stun Fist safe swap combo this time. The reason why I think this team is pretty good is because the Pidgeot actually covers the Walrein really well, as well as the Stun Fist, and it can also rip through shields quite quickly. Same with the Stun Fist and the Walrein. This lead ends up being all Wobbuffet, which I was kind of shocked by. I think with Wobbuffet you wanted me switching out way sooner. I played this really badly. I should have switched actually into the Pidgeot right away. Instead, I took way too much damage, and I actually let a return go off him because I can't afford to block a Wobbuffet. I actually really feel like an idiot for not switching out faster just by watching this match. You definitely want to switch out of that matchup. Your Icicle Spears just don't do enough damage, and they're going to get a lot of damage in by just, you know, countering you down as much as possible. I finally switch into my Stun Fist, and they respond with Sableye. So in this position, what I need to do is I need to land an Earthquake. So I actually go straight for the Earthquake at front. I'm hoping that they think it's a bait. Now that I've landed the Earthquake, all I need to do at this point is just throw Rock Slides. In exchange, on their side, I actually don't have to really block anything here because their big nuke move return is resisted, and their foul plays just don't do enough damage to take out my Stun Fist at the moment. My opponent's now in a really bad position because I've officially won switch by landing that Earthquake. I can decide whether or not I want to let this go or to take out the Sableye. I generate energy faster than they do, meaning I'm going to get attacks off faster than they will. I will actually get to the second Rock Slide before they get to a second foul play. Here comes the second Rock Slide. If they lose this, they're going to be in a terrible position because they have no shields left. So they actually fight for it, which is, I guess, the call they can make. The CMP tie over here, I'm okay with letting my Stun Fist go at this point because it doesn't really matter to keep him. I'm going to now farm it down with my Pidgeot. The Pidgeot, knowing how to use your closes is really important. In my situation, I know that both my Walrein as well as my Pidgeot can play a really good closer position. Brave Bird does just so much damage to her. It's going to pretty much take out this Walrein, but they actually catch on the Wobbuffet, which is, that's okay. At this point, I can try to farm it down or force them to throw a return, which they throw the return. That's no big deal. Since they threw the return, I'm going to switch into my Walrein afterward so I can farm it down and then Earthquake their Walrein right away. Down goes the Wobbuffet, and here comes the Walrein with the Earthquake. Earthquake does a lot of neutral damage, so it's going to definitely take out this Walrein. The interesting thing is I think that if they had a normal Walrein, I might have lost that matchup. And the reason is because I don't think that my Earthquake would have taken it out if it weren't a Shadow type. I know why they use Shadow. Shadow is a little better because your Icicle Spears have a lot more shield pressure and they're more inclined to block because of that reason. I think rare ones are okay because you get to maintain the tankiness, and honestly the Stardust is just so much. I didn't level mine up because I couldn't afford the Stardust, if I'm being perfectly honest. That being said, I definitely see the value in it. I run a Shadow Politoed because I know Weather Ball damage from a Shadow Politoed is really threatening, just like it would be from a Walrein. Anyhow, let's go to the next team. So the team leads with a Trevenant in the lead, and then it has a Shadow Machamp for the safe swap, as well as the Walrein for a second closer. The idea of the team is to basically set one of them up to close out the rest of the game, whether it be Machamp, Walrein, or the Trevenant. So in the league, they have a Register. This is a really neutral matchup, so they bring out their Sableye, which is actually a bad matchup for the Trevenant, so I bring out my Walrein Stay Swap over here. The reason why I choose Walrein here is because it just has a lot of shield pressure with these Icicle Spears. They're doing a lot of neutral damage, and on top of it, they come out really often. If I can manage to get the shields off of this Sableye, I can set up both my Machamp as well as my Trevenant to clean up the rest of the game. There goes the first shield. They should be throwing this should be a foul play, although it might be a return. So because of that, I'm actually willing to block it, and it was just a foul play. At this point, if I can get the second Icicle Spear over here, I can actually be in a great position. I'm going to let the second foul play go over here because I don't really need to worry about it. In this position like this, I can actually get farmed down by this Sableye. But in exchange, if they want to do that, they have to actually block this second Icicle Spear. With that last shield down, I can actually win the game with either my Trevenant or my Machamp over here. I bring out my Machamp because I want to get extra farming because I don't know what the last Pokemon is. Additionally, I know that I resist the foul play, so I don't have to waste shield in this position. Now I'm in a position where both my Pokemon win out the game, so long as they don't have anything really good over here. They bring out Rizzo, so this indicates to me that whatever is in the back is either really good against my Trevenant or really bad against my Machamp. Either way, I want to be careful here. I threw the first cross. I'm actually going to do the best to farm it down now. It's going to throw it here. I'm going to block it to make sure that I save my Machamp and don't rely on my Trevenant for the win. And bam, there's a Mandibuzz. That's what I was really concerned about. Mandibuzz has no shields, and because of that, I can actually play this matchup really well now. This Lock Slide is going to do a ton of damage over here, and I'm in a position where I only need to get either a Shadow Ball here, or I need to get a Cross Chop. Either way, I'm in a great position. This Mandibuzz is going to have to throw, or I will be able to get to a Shadow Ball in time and take it out. The Shadow Ball is fully resisted here, but because of the amount of damage Shadow Ball does, it's going to still take it out, at which point my Trevenant can actually farm down the Registeel. Even though I didn't have any real good answers to the Sableye, because of the shield pressure that is provided by the Walrein as well as the Machamp, you can pretty much constantly set yourself for closing with this team, which is why I like it a lot. Anyhow, those are 5 teams that you could use pretty well with Walrein. I recommend checking them out if you really want to utilize your Community Day Pokemon. Anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and if you did, go and smash. Oh, I have a new announcement. So I recently launched a new Discord server. This Discord server is solely for talking about Pokemon Go PvP. So if you want to do that, go ahead and join it. I will leave a link for it in the description below. Everyone out there, I wish you the best luck in the Battle League.